Hey guys, Canadian Zangief back again, and the Ataribox has finally been released on Indiegogo. And it's surging with those cash money dollars. All of a sudden, it's been up I don't know, like an hour or something like that, and it's already raised over like $1 million, which sounds absolutely outstanding. But we'll see how far it goes. I've been quite the naysayer, through this entire project of the Ataribox development, or lack thereof. I have a few big problems with the Atari VCS Ataribox, and one, Indiegogo is like a red flag for me. Red flag, because you do not need a working prototype for Indiegogo, okay? Nowhere are they releasing actual legitimate specs of the machine. So this is all based on theory, and which is just garbage when you're investing money. The other thing about Kickstarter and Indiegogo, both of them, it's not, see, the wording that they used really is tricking the masses for this Indiegogo thing. They use the word pre-order. Now, if you read the terms and conditions for Indiegogo and Kickstarter projects, it very, very clearly states that you are not buying something. You're investing it to see that it gets developed. If it does not get developed, well, you invested poorly. So that $299 Ataribox VCS that you just bought, you didn't actually buy. You're banking that money in hopes that they do succeed, and if they do and finally come through with what they're good, then they'll give you that. That's what it is, the bottom line. It brings me to mind, like, this entire time I've been calling this thing the Atari Ouya, because it's an emulator machine, and it's a powerful Ouya. That's all it is. It's a Linux-based operating system with an AMD processor. That's pretty much as far as they went. They did mention that it's going to be a mid-range power 2017 computer, which I'm thinking that if I wanted to make a computer, I could probably do a lot better than that with that $300. It also reminisces back to a few years ago when Steam tried this same thing and it failed miserably. Like, they still do sell them, but there was Steam machines, if people that know remember, that were like console computers, exactly like the Ataribox, a Linux box computer console, and it never took off. Like, it had its initial large investment, like most of these things do. That's why I'm saying, don't let this $1 million raised, $2 million, $5 million through the week, whatever it's going to be, throw you off. There's always going to be a large core that believe in something, or at least are duped into believing into something like this, and will dump their money into it. However, as the campaign progresses, you do have the ability to back out of these investments before the time expires. So there's going to be a bit of fluctuation. If they reach high levels and Atari doesn't come good with anything that they're actually going to be selling, like they don't release any information all the way through, people are going to be asking questions right from the developers during this, and that's pretty much required when you're asking about something you're investing in. And if they're not giving any solid answers, then that's just plain arrogance. And I would back out on that principle alone, because like I said, you're not buying something. It's not like they need to be sitting on like their high horse, and it's like, well, you're just the consumer, you're gonna take what we give you. No, you're an investor in this, so yes, you do have a say, yes, you do have a right to know, so don't expect anything less. And back to the Ouya, during on Kickstarter, it broke, records, and for the same kind of thing, it raised $8.5 million and was late to produce. The production was way out. All of these things are always delayed. You think you're going to get it in summer 2019? No, it's not going to happen. Only the simplest Kickstarter crowdfunding things seem to come out on time. We have flopped, like everybody got it eventually and took it out and started playing it, and it was like a freaking cell phone console, it was kind of neat, I guess. The price point was, like $100, which was attractive. But it wasn't very powerful. It was a home console mobile gaming, cell phone gaming device. And it just died. You can't even find them anymore, They were even selling in stores briefly, and then the interest, for the consumer just went just downhill. And I very much suspect that this is the future of Atari. Atari is iconic. It has a warm spot in people's hearts, and that's where a lot of this initial funding is coming from, and Misconception. I was commenting briefly to a friend of mine, the Atari Creep, and he's posted a video. He's got to do it first, because he's the source. I would never. I always want to hear his side of it first, and then I'll critique it, because I guess I'm been pretty negative about this project, for quite some time. And I'm not a negative person, I just see the value of my money, and I've done crowdfunding before, and I've experienced the ins and outs. Something that he was unaware of that I explained to him was, in the Indiegogo campaign, there's different price points for the Ataribox, Atari VCS, whatever. It's like staggered, so for anybody that has not done crowdfunding, they sell out the cheap ones first, it's all the same. And then when those are sold out, they usually call it the early bird, price point. So then they raise the price, and then when those sell out, then they raise the price again, and then when those sell out, it's full price. So it's to encourage people to back it right away, to get that, people into a frenzy and like, okay, I gotta do it now, before my price goes up, But if you are one of those that is determined to invest in this, I'm not gonna say buy, because it's investing, then if you run out of time to get the early bird ones, keep watching it, because people, like I said, people can back out and then you could get in. Okay, so if you're not in that initial thing, I recommend you to hold off, don't back it yet. It's already reached its goal, so the crowdfunding is going to succeed. Whether or not the system itself comes out is another story. So you go have that opportunity to wait, and then wait to the last minute, and then sink your money in, unless you keep see it going up, and then you have a whole bunch more of the higher tier whatever then. So I really don't think this is going to happen, like everyone is hoping and dreaming that it's going to be, that I wish it would be. I was really hoping when they first came out with this thing that it was going to be a new entry into the console wars, not quite, on the level of like a PlayStation or Xbox, despite the price that it's the same almost. You know, like $300 is pretty high. You know, I can go out and buy a PS4 right now for $300. Why would I buy an Atari VCS over a PS4 right now, or an Xbox One? Especially since the entire marketing campaign of this is 100 Atari Legend games or whatever like that out of the box, and can play modern games. So why would I spend the same amount of money to get less? With no physical cartridges, no CDs, you know, there's no, I love having, you know, the CDs and stuff because it has value, it retains value. That's why I've never been on the digital bandwagon, because I like having stuff on my shelf, as you can see. And if for some reason I get tired of something, I can sell it, you know, and then the next guy gets a deal on it, and then they can enjoy it, you know. It's how gaming always was, and I would love for it to be, but you know, the times are changing, and I'm sad and upset to feel that growing around me. But the Atari VCS, I have my doubts. I'll leave a link to the Indiegogo campaign below. Tell me your thoughts. Are you gonna back this thing? Are you gonna, you know, invest in it? Or do you see all these flaws, you know, for what they are? You know, I think a lot of it may come just as, you know, people needing to be educated, you know, about what they're investing in. You know, like, they need to give some more information. I'm honestly surprised that so many people are backing it right now, based on how little information we actually have. Sure, we got a lot of concepts, we got you know, a controller design. I think they have a prototype and couple prototype controllers, but no prototype console to play them. They have, I think, basically just a slap job out of a computer, running a core operating system, you know, alpha, you know, and that's pretty much about it right now. But it's gonna be interesting to watch how this unfolds, and that after it's completed, how long is it going to take for them to make good on it? Are they going to make good on it? Yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.